Oh, yeah. Here we are, the Canadian Bro Show once again, a very special episode. Thank you, everybody, for joining the Canadian Bro Show. All things Canadian with Pauly and Johnny. We have a very special guest. He's third time on the show, 2 in a row, episode 49 and 59. We are on the ticker, which is not on right now.
Oopsie daisy.
But we are on it.
No, now we're on it. This is good. I mean, this is what we're talking about right now. This is much better. And I just for the 50th episode, this is incredible. We have brought back Canadian renowned, world renowned Dr. Stuart Shulman. I keep him calling Stu. The founder and CEO of Stu. How would you like to enunciate TechSifter?
That was a 2-hour conversation before the show.
I know. I just, you just want to make sure that you get it right.
Important than pronunciation.
Technology.
Yeah.
You got tech for short.
Everybody
knows about big tech.
TechSifter.
If you know about baking and flour sifters.
Yeah.
And then if you smash those two things together, tech.
There you go.
Sifter.
Nice.
A company named TechSifter.
Unbelievable.
Which we're not going to get into the spelling. Let's just stay with the phonetic version.
Absolutely. And Stu has been kind enough to come back for the third time. He's the first time he wasn't quite back in Canada yet. And this story is really fascinating, and it's very true. On the ticker below, this is exactly what's happening. The current episode 49 is still playing for another 3 or 4 days, so please check it out if you're interested in finding out more about what Dr. Stuart Shulman has done and is doing with his company, and why did he have to escape from the USA, and what the heck is going on down south with democracy. Stu, welcome for the third time. Hopefully you'll join us for future episodes, but in the meantime, I also want to say hello to my co-host of the most, Johnny. And Johnny, once again, you are the only person I know that has its own private studio in the Vancouver Library. And until we get a proper studio, Stu, bear with us. Allow the growth to unfold so we can get a better studio. But in the meantime, it's cozy. And welcome back, Stu. Welcome, Johnny. And let's get right back into it. Stu, where would you like to start off?
Let's get it on.
Yeah, with your escape, when did you know that you had to leave the United States, or you seriously started to consider it?
A specific event or accumulation?
Last time?
No, we did. No, not really. No, not
about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on November 8th, election day.
Oh,
that was when it became painfully obvious that the American people had voted for a dictatorship, which is probably the last meaningful vote.
Yeah.
They're going to ever cast, because once you vote in a dictator and he does all the dictator stuff, the next time the voting won't matter. And I think I've talked before about my experience as an election warden, supervising voting, which is very safe, secure, legit, impossible to cheat at. Well, there's going to be some cheating in the future.
Do you guys still have that Chad? Remember that controversy with the
Chads
in the
no,
Gore?
we use
Clinton
Dominion
election
voting machines.
Okay.
I used to be a part of that, and we don't have much to look forward to on the voting side, because an absolute madman is doing things that invalidate every high school and university textbook that describes the American political system to students of all ages. Everything in there no longer applies. There are kids in classes today going back to school, freshmen starting college, juniors, seniors going to high school, taking civics, and they're looking at a textbook that says we have a separation of powers, that we have an independent judiciary, that we got a Congress that can check and balance the presidency. All gone. Not fading, not diminished, not weakened, gone.
Wow.
It's gone. And every textbook in America is now full of a pack of lies, because the country is run a whole new way. It's an autocratic, kleptocratic, it's just a running bribery scene.
What's the solution?
Well,
we're only 8 months into this. This has happened so fast.
It's accelerating. It's a part of a plan. There's a plan. It's not happening by chance. It's happening.
He's following the 950-page manifesto.
Is following a plan that's written in public, but also a privately discussed plan, which has to do with flooding the zone with so many outrages that you can't keep track of them, and flooding the zone with so much fear that you think twice about speaking up or acting or protesting. And so we're at a real critical juncture, an inflection point, but it's not a process that's happening, it's a process that happened. And yes, it was quicker than anybody thought it would be, even the most cynical person. But some of us were warning 5-6 years ago that this is like a maniac who doesn't respect democratic values, norms, traditions, doesn't believe in trust, doesn't trust anybody, is a narcissist, and we now live in something that looks like North Korea. And I'm here now. I keep acting like I'm still there. I try to watch CBC News. I watch some CBC News, but I also still pay close attention to the American news. I have a son in Washington, D.C., the National Guard from states like Tennessee, Alabama, just name any southern state, SEC school states. They've sent their troops to patrol the streets and pick up the garbage in D.C., and that's where my son lives, and I'm afraid to go visit him.
What was the sending of the National Guard in response to? Did they
A
have
fake emergency.
Crime. They sent him to L.A. first, and then they sent him to D.C., and they're talking about sending him to Chicago.
Yeah, it's not going to happen in Chicago.
Governor of Illinois is a good man and
Yeah.
a young leader. Governor Pritzker, and he made a great statement, was backed by all of the faith and political and arts and other communities of Chicago and Illinois. They say, no way.
Yeah.
Doing that here. I think Trump backed down. That's what it takes. Johnny, you asked a good question.
No, thank you.
So what do you do?
All right.
What do? You have to say no way.
Yay for me!
You crossed the line. You've gone too far. You have to have courage that you're not going to be arrested for it. Look at what's targeting political figures, district attorneys, anybody who's ever done anything that Trump doesn't like. They're all under investigation. Right? It's like it's not about getting rid of the MS-13 gang members at all.
No.
The latest outrage for me was they've been doing immigration raids at the camps.
MS-13, that's like a street gang?
It's a street gang.
Okay, got it.
Very, very nasty street gang from El Salvador, I believe.
Venezuela, but
Venezuela,
not really present in the U.S., not really active in the U.S., just like maybe a few guys.
Yeah.
But what they're doing now is rounding up undocumented workers in fire camps who are fighting forest fires. So that's where they're sending ICE, not to get dangerous gang members, but to get people who are risking their lives to put out forest fires. That's where we are in the U.S.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And they volunteer, but they're paid by the Mexican government to come up here and help us out. And this clown is...
it's not those guys. They're going after actual undocumented workers who are in the U.S. There's 11.
What about the ones that are actually documented as well and have families and children in school?
There are people who've married, got born birthright citizenship. Maybe one parent was undocumented and married somebody who is a citizen. They all become citizens. You're born in the United States, you're a citizen. People are being threatened or actually rounded up, detained. There are Canadians in detention, large number of Canadians in detention.
Still in detention.
Large number of reports of Canadians being harassed, going over the border in ways they've been harassed before. And there's just a kind of an attitude now. You see these raids going on TV. You look at these guys, they don't look like regular, they don't have badges, they don't have ID, they don't have numbers. You can't tell what they're from.
They're wearing face masks.
Wearing face masks. They're not in good shape.
They're not identifying themselves. They have a bad attitude, and the vast majority, if not all, are from red states.
Yep. So that's what's going on. Is they're sort of building something. I'm listening to a great audio.
It's like a Gestapo.
Yeah, I was going to say, listening to a great audiobook right now called The Wages of Destruction. It's about the economics of Germany in the 1930s, the early 30s, and a lot of what was going on identically mirrors Trumpism and Trump policy, not just the nativism and the bashing of other people who don't look like you, but the underlying fundamental trade policy, tariffs. Using tariffs as a way to manage international relations. It's a huge part of why we had the Great Depression, why we had the whole rise of Hitler through in the 30s. All mirror images. You look at Trump's tactics and his ideology, it's not an exaggeration to say it lines up pretty well with a guy who achieved a dictatorship another way, right? Which is through the methods of intimidation, fear, sometimes arson, murder, intimidation,
kidnapping.
Trump did it through the ballot box with the help of the Russians.
Yeah.
Right? But let's be clear, he's the most pro-Russian president in the history of the United States.
Yeah.
I don't know why he loves Putin so much.
Well, I think he first and foremost, when he was broke and he bankrupt, I think the fourth and fifth time, he was broke. He couldn't get money, so he had to go to the Saudis and he had to go to Russia, and then Russia's got a whole bunch of stuff on him. They got video on him. They got photos of all kinds of dark and nefarious activities that this guy's been doing his entire life. He is oh my God, Stu. Was this going on? Like, how long did you start? Did you notice it the first time he was in power because you were in the States at the time?
Well, if you think back to I don't know if it's possible to think back to the first days of his presidency.
In 2016, yeah.
The first things he did is he went to the CIA and made this really obnoxious speech to all the CIA officers, bashing the U.S. intelligence community, basically bashing the mission, the history, the integrity of all the people who work there. It was a couple of days into his presidency.
Yeah.
And then the next thing he did was the travel ban, which was targeted at Muslim people.
That's right.
I tell you, coming to a country where diversity is obvious every single day, every single minute. You're in Vancouver, and it's like, I'm enjoying cricket when I take my dogs out for a walk. I think it's kind of a fun game to watch. I don't get what I don't see the enjoyment, but they're having a good time.
I don't even think they know what the rules are. They just make it up as they go along.
I did see a large number of cricket players fall down trying to catch the ball, and I thought, these are guys that they look like me playing soccer.
They just like to wear those outfits.
I was just going to say all the pads and knee pads and goalie pads and elbow pads and hand pads and helmet and neck pad. I mean, my God, it's not like they're playing rugby, bro.
Let's just say there's not a whole lot of cricket in the USA.
No, it isn't. But so you were in the States, and then at what point did you start to realize that, I need to, was this a family decision, or was there anyone, did you sort of spearhead the exodus?
I think I spearheaded it, in part because, very deluded and misguided way, did not think he could win. And thought he was proven to be, a felon, which he is.
Obviously, yeah.
And insurrectionist, and basically a traitor to the United States Constitution. So I didn't think he could win. When he won, like I said, 8 p.m. election night, that's when I knew I had to go, in part because of some of the work that I had done.
Yeah.
Publicly and behind the scenes to expose some of the things he had done and his minions. And I was afraid, so I left because I was afraid. And the planning started right around before the polls were closed and the winner was declared. When it was clear she was losing Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
8 o'clock in the East Coast. I was like, I have to move.
Yeah. And it was basically Musk was involved as well with the Russians.
Musk was heavily involved. Russians definitely involved in every election from Canadian election 2015 through U.S. 2016, Canadian 2015. The Russians are in those elections.
So Musk spent $300 million. Was that the determining point with the Russians' help? And the theft of supposedly some of the Dominion, I don't know. I heard all kinds of stuff. I really don't know. But, was that sort of how it all was spearheaded when all these guys just jumped in and stole the election, basically?
Well, that's sort of a good segue, Paul, to what I'm doing next couple of weeks, which is going to the American Political Science Association.
Right. Yes.
Giving a paper and a talk at a workshop.
Do you have dates on that, Stu?
That workshop's on the 10th of September, and the American Political Science Association runs for 4 days.
It's in
Okay.
Yeah, they did Vancouver, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And what political scientists try to do, and this is sort of circling back to your question, is they try to explain a lot with as little as possible. The fancy word for that is parsimony, meaning that you
That
have
is a good word.
powerful explanation.
I'm gonna use that in my next Lee
Yeah,
Hackman.
Do it. Do it.
I'm gonna put it on my
Parsimonious.
phone.
My problem is I don't actually believe in parsimonious explanations. I'm a skeptic. As a qualitative historical researcher who accidentally stumbled into doing software and science, both things I wasn't expecting to do.
He wears a lot of hats, this man.
Yeah.
Doing software, doing science, doing scientific software, I know that it is very difficult to explain something as complex as an election outcome with like, yeah, Musk did it, or the Russians did it, or that would be a parsimonious explanation.
Got it.
Musk plus Russians equals Trump win, when in fact, the sort of a stirring of the pot that led to Trump's victories,
Yeah.
it predates Trump in politics. It goes back decades. You know, the Christian right and radio and podcasts play a huge role. There's a whole culture of anonymity that's possible on social media platforms or fake personalities.
Can I ask you, what do you think of Alex Jones? Do you have an opinion
What
on
do I
him?
think of him?
I used to listen to his podcast, believe it or not.
I think,
Wow.
4
I
hours.
think he can take as much credit for Trump as the,
Oh, really?
the Russians and anybody else. because
Absolutely.
He's a part of that ecosystem that generated a kind of unmoored hatred for opponents. And that's what's missing. Even when we disagreed in previous eras, maybe not the most violent disruptions like Civil War, civil rights, maybe even suffrage at times. But at various points in American history where we've disagreed, we've done it within a framework that the founders set up, which although they were slaveholders, had a whole bunch of, really wacky ideas about all sorts of stuff, they designed
They
this
had their ticks.
really, really good system of government in the sense that it prevented anybody from getting too carried away. Now, their real concern was the majority, so they built an anti-majoritarian system where the minority could exercise a block or a check on the majority to make sure that they don't run amok and basically take all the rich people's money. Right? The founders did design a separation of powers, divided government, and I think if they saw Trump, they would say that Trump was the embodiment of everything we tried to architect out of the system. It had worked for generations. We went through a civil war. We went through civil rights movement. We got women the right to vote. We went through all these important changes in American history. And then somebody comes along, and it wasn't Trump, it was before Trump, who starts to poison the well of discourse, of conversation, of how we relate to one another. And he's not somebody you disagree with. He's somebody you should hate. He's somebody you should fight with. He's somebody you don't want to, share a driveway with, or a yard, or anything like that. These are people you want to be wary of. They're out to get you.
Yeah.
There's a culture of paranoia now in the United States.
Yeah, it's and you're apparently not the only one that has escaped from the United States. And in fact, I've heard that a lot of people are escaping from Canada as well. But that's a topic for a different discussion at a different time. I'm more curious about on the 8th you woke up and he said, "That's it, I'm out of here." So how did?
Is there anything you missed about America?
Well, Paul, I resent the idea that you think I woke up at 8 p.m. on election. I'm a political scientist.
That's not what I meant. I'm sorry.
Shame on you, Paul.
I think somebody's got to keep this guy.
I think so.
All right. Yeah.
I know. It's hard to bitch slap somebody from 6 blocks away, but you could definitely verbal bitch slap me. Absolutely, as you just did. So thank you for that. I feel better already.
Anyway, at 8 p.m.
He's a masochist.
It's the nighttime part of the day.
Yeah.
When the election was becoming
know that.
clear.
You are smart.
I felt in my gut, it would be safer for me. And also, I've convinced my parent. I didn't really need to convince them.
Yeah.
They're going to be coming along now.
Are they still in the States?
They're still there, but they'll be coming along in exactly 20 days.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
My son, I'm sorry,
You're going to live here?
they're going to live
Oh,
here.
sweet.
And very excited to have my elderly parents joining me out here.
Yeah, nice.
And my son will fly them out. We'll all be together. It'll be great.
Excellent. That's really great. And you've got your dogs, and you've got your Stu showed me his apartment right across the street from the old Ridge, Johnny, and what the views, and then the access he can get to UBC when he starts his new. And tell everyone, Stu, you're continuing your education. You're not afraid of education. You're not afraid of being a very cerebral, intelligent, highly educated individual. And at this later stage of life, you're entering UBC once again, which is really incredible.
Well, thank you. I did decide to go back to school to get a degree in library and information studies. I told one of my old friends who's a very distinguished computer scientist, he's actually the chairman of the board of TechSifter and wonderful man, Edward Hovey. Just recently I told him, hey, I'm going back to school. This is my student email. And as he often does, he wrote me a very long email asking, in a very polite way, what the hell? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're getting older and all the rest. And but
Revolving.
he also is a reflective guy, so he said, well, you'll probably bring a perspective that's a little different. You've had some life experience. You've been in the private sector. I've been a professor in academia. And basically, what I tell people, the short version is, the stuff I learned when I got my PhD in American politics is no longer applicable.
Right.
The life lessons I've learned are, the business I've learned,
Yeah, some things are universal.
software I've learned, the things I work on now. But in terms of, am I a good fit for the American political system or to be teaching people about it? No. And I'm also very interested in the work that librarians have done historically.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating. In one sense, it involves putting things into categories, so classification. That's what my software is all about. We put words into categories. That's what librarians do. And there were librarians deeply involved in World War II, helping to defend.
Oh yeah, you talked about that on the last.
We talked about that last time. So
it's a great premise for a movie.
For me, I think they should make that into a movie.
It sounds very exciting. Yeah.
They should get Gary Cooper. Is he still around?
I don't think so.
No, unfortunately not.
Well, they can create him digitally. They can do that now.
Get
They can bring him back.
Gary Cooper. To be in the
That wouldn't be
libraries.
creepy.
Actually, a lot of the librarians, some of the best librarian information hunters were, of course, women.
Yeah. Yes.
Where they were allowed to excel earlier than other fields.
That's right. Yeah, especially during the war times. Stu, what about a trust defender?
What is that?
We're still figuring it out.
Oh, okay.
But
It's evolving.
It's my old software is called DiscoverTech, so it's a new face with some new features on some old software.
Okay.
So it's just saying the core function of our software is to put things into categories.
Right.
Is it an X or a Y? So the core function of Trust Defender is when you see this thing or this person, do you trust them or not? We're trying to create a framework so that professors can do exercises with students where they show them, 50 tweets, 100 tweets, whatever number is, or some other digital objects, and the students look at them and they simply record their observation. Trust, don't trust, trust, don't trust.
So it's critical thinking.
It's a critical thinking exercise and a research platform as well. And part of what I'm interested in is what happens if you show a control group one version and then an experimental group.
You mean a version of a story?
One version of a
news
Twitter,
item?
a Twitter user
see.
profile.
Okay.
Say it's a whacked out insurrectionist QAnon who's never seen a government you wouldn't like to overthrow.
What's a QAnon?
What's a QAnon?
I don't know.
No, I mean, it's a good question.
QAnon is somebody who believes
It sounds like
there
something from
is
Star Trek.
a figure who started releasing information in October of 2017 about the deep state and the pedophiles, how all this information was going to come out.
Gross.
So it's a QAnon. I think we talked a little bit about on the show, but it's
We did, yeah.
a huge social movement that took place. So anyway, so in Trust Defender, you might see a profile, and in the control group, you just have to judge it at surface level, right? When you see it, you're like, I trust that person, or I don't trust that person.
Right.
You know, it's a politician, maybe it's a social movement leader, actor.
So you're looking for a bias
We're looking to see
over objectivity?
who people trust and who they don't, and then in the experiment, we show people a little bit more information, like this person is one of the 50 most influential people on the internet when talking about vaccines. This person is anti-vax. This person has, 50,000 followers and follows 5 people, and they're all anti-vax. Does that impact somebody's trust? And it's not just about vaccines.
You're not talking about JFK though, the
Well,
other psycho.
RFK. Well, we could
RFK, whatever.
We could have an whole episode about what that guy's been up to.
My God, man, it's
This is like, you would maybe want people to see some of the people who are proponents of vaccines and the regular use of vaccines, and some of the people who aren't, if that was the topic you were studying, and
Yeah.
see how the students respond to different types of bios and backgrounds and different levels of knowledge. Because one of the things is people form their judgments. This gets back to our original discussion about what's gone wrong in U.S. politics, about who they trust and who they don't trust, sometimes at a very superficial level, and especially on social media. So this is a sort of a game-like setting, Trust Defender, where people can create experiments to try and figure out what causes people to gain or lose trust in somebody online.
right.
For example, you have some people who are interested in your work, they follow you, they trust you. It's because they know something about you. They know something about your work, your background, your commitment to your craft. A lot of people form opinions on a very superficial level.
Yes, definitely.
And they become sort of drawn into, this was the case in QAnon, J6, insurrection, a lot of movements, social movements can be drawn in by people who may or may not actually be who they say they are.
Right.
And so how do you form trust, or how do you decide who to trust? You don't even know if what you're looking at is produced by the image, the description, the background. Sometimes you just dig a little bit beneath the surface and you're like, oh, okay, this person is connected to a number of prominent Proud Boys, white nationalists, Christian nationalists, people who talk about, the coming Civil War. He's got a whole network,
Yeah.
One thing I'd love to do with Trust Defender, we're not really set up to do it yet, is when you see somebody you're not sure about, maybe you're concerned, you're like, I don't know whether I trust them, just click a button and see their network. To the extent we can visualize it and say, these are the most important. Like, I know when there's this lady, she's one of the most influential people on Twitter, top 50, top 100, whatever. Tens of millions of followers, virulently and violently anti-vax, vaccines are murder, blah, blah, just, and if you look at her network, almost everybody in it is nuts.
Well, that puts it succinctly.
Right? And so these are tools that I don't think every citizen has in their tool belt, and I don't think anybody can promise to deliver them to everybody. But what researchers do and educators do is they try and create scenarios where we can produce defensible scientific findings about what's going on. And again, there's a long way to get back to your original question. Was it the Russians? Was it Musk? It's everything. It's everything simultaneously all at once. Isn't there a movie like that?
Yeah.
It's everything
Michelle
all the
Yeoh.
time, all at once. So to say, it's Musk, well, Musk definitely would like to take credit for Pennsylvania. Traditional blue wall state. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, these are the blue wall.
Yeah.
With it, the Democrats win. They lost all 3 last time. Musk said he won. Now, he did spend a bunch of money, and it's clear that there's something going on where Republicans are better at elections. And it's not just the rigging and the fixing and the tilt and the bias of the media, all these things are factors in that ecosystem. But they're actually kind of good at getting people out to the polls. And I think I said this last time. I thought the trans issue was one that played very well for them. And they continue to say they're the law and order, strong border, law and order party. They're the party of violent insurrection that beats police.
Yeah.
So there's a disconnect between what they actually do and deliver. We're gonna lower your prices. Prices are going up. We're gonna put more money in your pocket. Only rich people are getting tax cuts.
Yeah.
Middle class, lower class people are all going to lose wealth to the extent they have any and income under Trump, 100%.
After 8 months, I think it's increasingly obvious, and I think a lot of the people that voted for that clown show are absolutely pissed that they've been deceived and that they just fell, like all of the other cult members, so much in love with this guy that he's God. He cannot do anything wrong. And at the end of the day, it's really quite obvious what they're doing. And it's frightening. So what can we do as Canadians? What can the Americans do to somehow slow this dude down, because it's accelerating and it's so early?
So some of the more effective people lately have been the governor of California.
Oh yeah, Newsom, yeah.
Started this social media campaign that is absolutely genius.
Oh, really, really good.
He's posting in all caps every day and pretending to be Donald Trump and just mimicking him. And this is a great way to deal with a thin-skinned, weak dictator who is at the lowest approval rating of any president at this point in their presidency.
Yeah.
I mean, he is not a popular man.
No.
Started to really piss people off with the troops in the streets and talking about going to all of these blue states where there happen to be Democratic governors and cities where there are black women mayors, going after the only black woman on the Federal Reserve, seeking to take over the Federal Reserve. I mean,
and by the way, she said thanks, but no thanks. I'm not going anywhere. You have no right.
If Trump takes full control of the Federal Reserve, the same way he does with the National Endowment of Arts or the Kennedy Center, everything else, he's basically running everything like an autocrat does.
Yeah.
But if he takes over the Federal Reserve, there's not going to be much Canada can do to protect itself from the fallout when the U.S. hits 50, 60, 70, 80% inflation.
Which is what he's planning to do. He wants to devalue the American dollar, and he wants us to go into a stagflation 10 times that, so that he can just do martial law and take over and stay for a third term.
It's a man-made emergency. It's also part of the conversion over to the crypto universe, where he's received ridiculous sums of money from all over the world into his crypto, which is just a made-up thing.
It's a meme. It's a scam. Like everything he does.
Superman's dog, right?
So, not to be totally bleak, but what can Canadians do? Not much. What can Americans do? Well, I mean, actually, I think Carney's been quite good.
Yeah, he's been really good.
I noticed, actually, I saw his popularity quite high in Canada, pushing 70%.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Unheard of.
But then if you look at the clown show that's the only competition, the guy shouldn't even be in politics. Sorry. I mean,
he doesn't impress me as
take your pension and fluck off is what I like to say, because the guy's a knob.
I think it's probably good for the country to keep him around.
It's the Donald Trump love fest.
Oh my God! No, I wasn't talking about. Let's not say his name, Johnny. Please.
Too late.
No, it's just it's like.
I take it back.
No, it's all good. It's just So what about your American friends, Stu? What are they doing?
That's where I was going to swing back to. Is
okay.
Signs of hope.
Right.
Are that people are starting to organize in a
Great.
more firm way. I think not just Newsom's leadership, governor of Illinois standing there with the congressional delegation, the mayor of Chicago, people saying absolutely not. The systematic pointing out of the fact that crime is the worst in 13 states, 13 out of 20 worst states. or where there are Republican governors.
They're all red states.
They're red states. Not all of them are red states, but
Vast majority.
Cities. These cities that where they defund the defund the they get the police these like tanks, right, and these high end weapons and body armor.
Yeah.
Things that feed the belly of the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
Because that's why they've militarized. One of the reasons they militarized the police.
It's like they're an extra on the set of Halo. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they're not doing any community policing, and in cities where community policing and sort of creative policing efforts are being made, crime goes down. Whoa, where people have jobs, crime goes down. Where people have hope and food, crime goes down. But where you cut the programs that do community policing, where you cut the programs after school care for kids at risk. Okay, no after school care. You get out of school, mom's at work, dad's God knows where. Long gone. Are we really better off keeping those kids on the street with nothing useful to do? Because I'm pretty sure that's going to contribute to a rise in crime.
Yeah.
They don't have any hope. They don't have any opportunity. There's not going to be any colleges to go to soon. There's not going to be any funding for people to go to colleges. Some of the wealth extraction schemes Trump has come up with are so bizarre. Where like Intel just gave the U.S. government 10% of its stock. What?
Yeah.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing that happens in a capitalist country.
No.
That's socialism.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even happen in Canada.
No.
So he's got this whole plan, which involves nothing but narcissistic attainment of power and
Just
revenge.
Pure unadulterated greed.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it's really sad. So, is there hope? Is there hope for the Western Hemisphere?
Absolutely no hope. We should all kill ourselves right now.
Johnny,
right?
You're gonna be writing something like this in one of your. Why don't you get your famous private investigator to go? Take care of the situation.
I'll put him in present day.
Yeah.
And
the hope is
he'll save the world
that,
with sarcasm.
He goes too far.
He's already gone too far.
Well,
How much? I mean, he's just starting, obviously, but in 8 months, I've never seen anything like this in my life.
well,
And I never really followed politics until I became a Canadian about 12 years ago. And first of all, I didn't know I wasn't Canadian my entire life. I just assumed I was Canadian. And then September 11th happened. And I was in the States visiting relatives and working in Florida under the table. And I have to lead 6 months, and I just flew. I hopped on a train and went to Toronto for a weekend to hang out with a girlfriend, and re-entered and went back to work for another 6 months. And that, as soon as September 11th happened, that stopped. They didn't mess with me because I was a minority for the first time in my life in a couple of different areas. One, I was heterosexual. The other, I was white. And the third, I was Canadian. But because I was Caucasian and I spoke English, everyone... I just told everyone I was from Washington State, and nobody even blinked an eye. And that just changed. Everything changed, and that's when I found out I wasn't Canadian because I was using my British passport. And they would ask me at the border, "Are you Canadian?" Like they always did, and I said yes, but they never test. And next thing you know, I'm getting my fingerprints. I'm getting eye retinal scans, and threatening of throwing me in jail and releasing me to Canada, and then Canada wouldn't let me back in. I was just like, what's going on, bro?
I'm now aware of the reason, the explanation why you sound less Canadian than I do.
I am Canadian, 100%.
Okay, you just don't sound it.
I'm more Canadian than I am British. Let's put it that way.
Jolly good.
Yes. But getting back to a trust defender, you can see Stu. I call him Stu. I don't like to call him Doctor. He's Stu. That's how I remember him. I used to always call him Stu. But on the ticker, you guys, if everybody's interested, please go to his website and Stu, how do people get a hold of you? They do it through your website is the easiest way to get in contact with you if they want to go to the this symposium that you're doing coming up, or they want some more information. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, I think you could just look for Discover Text, that one word on the internet.
Yeah.
And or Trust Defender. Either way, if you contact the people are me.
Yes. But you have a team and you have partners in business as well, right? But you're very much open to people calling you, strangers that you don't know, and they are fascinated by what's going on. They want to know more. You're open to helping these people out and educating them.
It's one of my peculiar hobbies, which is that people from all over the world have been able to schedule meetings. I don't know them coming in. I don't know what they want or why they want to talk to me. I just know that they've scheduled 30 minutes and at a time I'm available. And I enjoy them. Most of the time, it's interesting just to hear what people are working on.
Yeah.
Problems they're having. A lot of people, in this era still want to study Twitter. A lot of people still think Twitter matters, that it is part of the complex explanation for Trump. It's part of how news and information works. It's part of how potentially how people learn about podcasts and other interesting things on the internet. So
What about doing your own podcast? Do you want to do that? You should. You could
He-
talk.
He used to have a YouTube channel.
They gave it back.
Oh, that's right. They did give it back. And by the way, on a side note, I'm really interested in Stu in a lot of different ways. I'm really happy he's on the show. But as soon as he told me he was a garlic farmer and he showed me his patches, I just my God, I got to get some of that garlic, bro.
Well, that's why we are meeting up.
Oh, you got. Oh, here we go. Yeah, buddy. I'm gonna have to bring a backpack then with me today. I got it in my book. Oh, excellent. Okay, perfect.
Reminding Johnny, these are Johnny's.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, okay. Hey, Stu, what about the pizza, man? Where's our pizzas?
Now look. Have you ever moved from one country?
Yeah, I've moved 62 times in my life.
It's a pain in the ass.
62 times, Stu. I swear to God.
Thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I love
Johnny likes to eat pieces of garlic in the morning for breakfast.
Good. You'll find it's easy to peel, and these are
Not sticky.
No, they don't smell.
They don't smell until you start peeling them or cooking them, but
Yeah.
cutting them up. The thing I will say about these are a little smaller than usual, but I eat the small ones and you plant the big ones. That's the secret of
What's the name of this brand, Stu? Don't they have all different types of names?
They do, and I got this particular strain in Hadley, Massachusetts, which is a farm town next to my town where I live, Amherst, Mass. I did not have a name. It's kind of probably a German white garlic with a hard neck.
Yeah.
It grows a big stalk up in the spring that you cut off, and it's delicious, easy to peel.
Yeah.
I've grown a lot of garlic. This is by far my favorite garlic. 4 cloves per bulb. None of those little tiny thin sliced cloves.
Oh no. Yeah, first thing I do with my garlic is I'm gonna make a homemade wonton soup, and I like to make mine heavy with organic garlic, your garlic, and ginger, and a little bit over the top. But my God, with the shingmei, the pork, and wontons and shrimp and noodles, I'm starving already, man. Oh my goodness.
I have a piece of garlic before bed every night because it increases your metabolism. So when I wake up in the morning, I'm famished, and it motivates me to get out of bed.
Got it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Motivated me to go to the pub and get some food.
Well, we'll be doing that after the show very shortly.
The front burner.
Oh, is this not after the show yet?
We're getting close. We're getting close. We're not going to go too late. We're at 44 minutes right now, which is a really good number. And I just want to. I got a couple more questions. So, Johnny, do you have any questions for Stu with regards to anything that you had written down that you'd like to share?
On my phone. What is the qualitative data analysis program?
Good question, man.
Important part of my entrepreneurial and
So it makes you money?
history. Sorry.
It makes you money?
You could say it did bring money into my lab. It was a research laboratory, first at the University of Pittsburgh, and then at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, so 4 years at each place. And the qualitative data analysis program was a place where researchers would come to take advantage of some of the things I knew about using computers with qualitative data. And we would assemble teams of students and help manage their projects for them. And they would pay us. And it was out of that lab that I commercialized my software, which became DiscoverText, now Trust Defender. And so without QDAP, there would be no software.
Wow. That's
Have you
incredible.
ever had like a job, like a day job, like
A lot
a
of
bread
them.
and butter job?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I started painting houses.
I can't see you working at McDonald's.
I
Is what I'm
started
saying.
painting houses for college pro painters here
Oh,
in
okay.
Vancouver when I was 16.
This is back in the West Coast in the early days in Oregon.
Days. No, this was in Vancouver.
Oh, in Vancouver. Okay,
Still a high school student,
right.
So I had
That's when I met him.
landscaping jobs at various points, including when I was very young. I started mowing lawns.
Wow.
I've done a lot of manual labor jobs. Sometimes I've been paid for them. Sometimes I just do them. And I've had a variety of jobs. Wait tables.
So terrific.
Was $1,000 double shift once. They give you a bottle of champagne at the restaurant when you pull that off.
Yeah, sweet.
And the last table at the end of the night just kept eating and drinking to make sure I could get over the top to $1,000 in sales in one day.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, I've done a real job.
Well, that's good.
How about you?
Oh yeah. Well, that's pretty much all I've done my whole life.
I know you're a security guy.
I mean, well, we're
No,
supposed to.
you were in the library. You were a librarian for 3 months until they fired you, right?
I worked at the Strathcona Library by myself in the East Vancouver, where I was physically threatened almost on a daily basis. It's a wonder I'm still alive.
A fellow librarian.
I've spent half my life in libraries as a patron and as an employee.
Yeah, no doubt.
Someday, follow in your footsteps and be a library employee myself. And I'm not joking.
I'll be your
That is
bodyguard.
literally my life story.
If you want to hire me to be your personal bodyguard, I can do it. 35 years experience.
Great.
And still getting back to what you're doing and so on. Now that you're back in Canada, you're going to continue to do what you're doing while you're studying for the new librarian ticket, which is a master's program, a 2-year program.
2-year masters. Keep the software going.
Yeah, nice. Keep the software going. So, can you still, now that you're safely in Canada, can you still do some of the things that you were doing or all the things that you're doing in America and feel safer here? Is that a possibility or?
Well, there's 2 answers to that. One is I cannot do everything that I was doing.
Right.
It's lost access to Twitter data for now.
Okay.
I do feel safer. It's a much different political climate. I worry, about my son living in D.C. with troops on the streets from
Now, are they harassing people?
southern states. It sounds like last I heard they were picking up trash.
Okay.
Which,
Well, that's a good thing.
No, not really.
Now, do you mean
That is terrible, man.
Well, no.
Well, here's the
Are
thing.
you being metaphorical?
These
No,
are-
but it's just the wrong people doing it. That's not what they're hired for.
These are
Fair
the
enough.
National Guard in Canada. I'm sorry, where am I? In the United States.
Planet Earth.
In the
The,
United
the
States.
Milky Way galaxy.
Now we have the inept force, and I don't know if they're entirely inept, but we do have the RCMP in Canada. But that's the only one I know.
The National Guard typically work on disasters, so they
Oh.
have real
They're
jobs.
called in for emergency.
They're called it. They have real
Like when
jobs.
FEMA was actually an organization before they got rid of it.
They train a certain number of weekends per year, and if a hurricane
The
or
weekend
flood
warriors.
strikes, they mobilize their unit and they have special training to deal with disaster scenarios, rescues, relief, falling structures, whatever, burning stuff.
More boots on the ground helping out.
Right. One thing they are not trained to do is to be policemen. They are
Gotcha.
not policemen.
Oh, I see.
And so when Donald Trump calls out the National Guard from Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia,
Mississippi, Alabama.
sends them to blue states, right? These are people who have to leave their jobs. They're going on a deployment, right? So they're away from their family, away from their kids, and they're asked to stop the violence in the democratic cities. Because they're not actually doing that, they're either standing around doing nothing or like taking pictures of all the things that tourists would take pictures of. Say you're from Alabama, it's your first time in Washington, D.C. Yeah, you're going to take a picture at the Lincoln Memorial. So there's all these ridiculous pictures of like 50 National Guardsmen standing in the Lincoln Memorial defiling the political tradition of Abraham Lincoln.
And doing selfies.
And by serving a dictator, right? By coming
Yeah.
and picking up trash in the nation's capital. The whole thing is so off base and weird.
It does sound weird.
It's never happened in the United States' history. And what's happening right now has never happened. I mean, this is just shocking. Stu, tell me, from the American point of view, what exactly do you think the Democrats are doing? Do they seem a little bit quiet about all this?
There's a few governors stepping up.
Yeah, now there is, but I mean, it took a while.
The senators are, in general, too old and too weak to do anything, and the Senate used to be one of the backstops. Like the House is known to be a little crazy,
Yeah,
and fluctuating, but the
yeah,
Senate is known to be the brakes.
right.
So there are no brakes. It's like a train going
Yeah,
go without brakes, without the Senate. And so these governors, who some of them have presidential ambitions, obviously, but the speech by Pritzker, if your viewers have not seen it,
yeah,
maybe Pritzker
yeah.
standing there saying, "No, there's not an emergency here. You're not sending the National Guard
The
in.
sky's not falling.
The sky's not falling." Take a look at Louisiana, right, where the Speaker of the House is from, and look at his district. Look what the crime rate is in his district.
It's one of the worst in America.
One of the worst in America. They're never going to send the troops down there.
Alabama, same thing. Mississippi, even worse. I mean, it's nobody talks about that.
Excuse me.
Part of the
Oh,
problem is
get it out, Johnny. Get it out. At least it's not coming out the other end. You know what I'm saying?
we
I'm
got
trying to do a show over here, bud.
a latent white nationalist movement that
Sorry,
wears
Stu.
different hats. And
Don't you dare, bro.
I'm kidding.
some of those hats are dangerous. Look, this is where we're heading with the conversation. I'm going to the pub now.
We are going to the pub very soon, guys. I wanted to give Johnny one more opportunity. We're going on 52 minutes here. We're going to be wrapping up shortly. Before we do that, though, Johnny, would you like to ask you another question? Do you have anything else that you're curious about?
I am curious about the coding analysis toolkit, aka CAT.
Wow.
CAT was the original open source software that was on the web. That
Now, what does open source mean? It means
open
available
source
to
means
everybody.
that under every computer application, there's software, the code. Hardware is the box.
Right.
Software is the thing that makes the box work. Right? The reason we're
I think I can connect those dots.
we're on the internet. So
It's not the box that you might be thinking about, Johnny.
Oh,
so open source.
cold shower.
Jesus, open source. Holy moly!
Is it getting warm in there, Stu?
It is. I'm sweating.
So cocktails and food coming soon within the hour.
Oh, I'm starving.
Well, tell me about it.
When you guys were kids, did you read those letters in Penthouse magazine?
Yes.
I never thought this would happen to me, but
Yes, I did.
I was in the elevator.
As a matter of fact, I think they were so popular in Penthouse, on a side note, that Playboy started to copy it before they went Penthouse's route. So, yeah, I did.
I'm getting a distinct impression that Johnny does not really want to know what open
I know I do. I
source
absolutely do.
is.
Sorry, we got
Well,
sidetracked. Carry on, please.
No, Johnny, I mean, listen, the thing is, I told you when we're going to do this show that we're going to have to dabble in some of the areas of interest that you have no interest in.
No, I'm interested in everything.
And, well, I think we should be. I think what's happening right now and what Stu's been through and many Americans are going through and is absolutely frightening. It's never happened in the Western Hemisphere. This is the first and hopefully the last. And really, at the end of the day, Stu, the options are limited. Obviously, they could go for the 25th Amendment, which I think is the first thing they should do. They should actually go back and what is the term that they tried to do twice in his last term but failed?
Impeach him.
Thank you. Is that, what do you think? What do you think? What can we do?
Well, neither of those are options. First of all, we've tried impeaching him twice. You need 60 votes in the Senate. Never going to get that.
No, not now.
They probably would have got it the first or second time. Probably the second time, but I believe there were completely on my own with no evidence. I believe senators were threatened with violence.
Yeah, of course.
And they acquitted him. So he could have been out of our life if they had removed him under the impeachment. They didn't. Then in terms of 25th Amendment, no way. That requires like 2/3 of the cabinet. I mean, there's not a single member of the cabinet who has resigned yet, except for, well, no, I don't think he was in the cabinet yet. I was going to say
Kinzinger?
the underage sex criminal from Florida.
Oh, God.
Matt Gaetz. He didn't resign because he never made it in. But
Yeah.
nobody has resigned. So this is another indicator of why the 25th Amendment will not be invoked. If Trump is the worst president, which he is, and the
He is.
dangerous dictator and the biggest authoritarian narcissist in American history, and nobody has even resigned their post in protest, right? It's not that they don't. It's not even that they don't resign. It's like people like Marco Rubio,
Yeah.
carry out his desire. Like I saw,
Yeah, he has presidential aspirations still, right?
they're working. Yeah, and he needs the Trump people, but they're working on a plan right now. It's in the news this morning. I've got this genocide going on in Gaza. They're working on a plan right now to move all the residents of Gaza out and raise the place and put up luxury condos.
Trump towers everywhere. Gold Trump towers.
And the whole, not only that, part of the plan is he would run a space in the Middle East adjacent to Israel. He would be the ruler of it.
Oh my God, man.
It's a literal thing that people who work for him are planning. Displace 2 million starving people with no food or shelter. It's already rubble from one end to the other. They're living in tents. Displace these starving, hungry, helpless, hopeless people and put up luxury condos for the whites.
Just incredible.
It's a genocide. There's no other word for it.
Yeah. So essentially, we're pretty much toast unless they can get America to wake up, and by 2000, what is it, November of next year, and they take back the House and the Senate, because people are just absolutely shocked and scared to death.
There is a tradition and a history of when a president is facing midterms, 2 years into their presidency, and things aren't going well, of a big, massive shift in the House. The problem is let's call it the genetic engineering of electoral districts, which are going on right now, as well as gerrymandering.
Well, the Electoral College is a joke, man. It's such a scam, right?
So electoral college is one thing, but the gerrymandering is where they draw the boundaries
Yeah.
of the districts, and they're drawing the boundaries in such a way that there are only about 30 competitive House seats in the whole country.
Right.
When they finish gerrymandering, that number could be 10 to 15, meaning that the whole control of the House of Representatives will come down to 10 or 15 seats where all the money will be spent. And so this is not a good scenario for democracy. However, in past moments in American history, I think the most important lesson is it's always the darkest before the dawn. It's a cliche. However, it's true.
Yes.
In the civil rights movement, people were being
And
locked up, handcuffed, hit with fire hose, attacked with dogs, and then they won through nonviolent civil disobedience.
Right.
And I think part of what needs to happen in the United States is there needs to be somebody of the equivalent force of nature as Gandhi. There needs to be an American.
My pun is about Gandhi. It's a perfect segue.
Isn't that really interesting? Well, yeah, I my God, man. There's just so much more here. But Stu, in closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with us? And we just wanted to say thank you again.
Optimistic about.
Yeah.
I think we're getting closer to beer.
Oh, well, that's
great. Just on a selfish side, but I completely understand. I don't even drink beer, and
we have to enjoy the simple pleasures of life,
I thought that
because time goes by very quickly.
Yes.
I was optimistic in the sense that, having left, I could give up. I could abandon hope. I could assume the worst. Honestly, there's plenty of evidence that the worst is yet to come.
Yeah. God.
The worst is yet to come. However,
It's just, that's what's frightening. I mean, and that's what they want us to feel. But in the meantime, Stu, we're going to wrap everything up. And again, thank you so much, so kindly for joining us again. And we'll hopefully have you back more often than not within within reason. And I think people need to know what's going on. And I think you're one of the best people to share that with. And we're really happy to have you on the show. And for those that are watching the show and have been enthralled, And we've had some comments by a couple of people that have said some really nice things about Stu.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, very kind, and actually stayed and watched the show because of Stu. And it really helps the show. And if you enjoy it, please subscribe, like, share, comment. If you have any questions for Stuart, Dr. Stuart Shulman, or you want to go to his websites, it's all below in the ticker. Reach out to him. He is a friendly, kind gentleman, and he will share his time now that he's safe in Canada.
Nobody understands him but his woman. Oh, that's John. Sorry.
Whoa. Okay.
Got my wires crossed.
Anyways, we're going to wrap things up, everyone. Stu, is there anything you'd like to close up with before we go get a bite to eat and a cold beer?
I think we've covered good ground here today. And
Yeah.
What about writing a book? You're going to write a book about all this, right?
Probably not. I think
No?
You
should.
For consuming rather than producing books. But the thing I'd like to thank you guys for is the opportunity to air some of my feelings about history. I love history.
The honors are.
Love old and current history, and I think it's important that these discussions take place. And that
very much so.
Who might not think about these things every day, think about them at least some of the days before it's too late.
It's such a good point, Stu, because ever since you've come on, that's all I think about.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm serious. Like I find myself leaning towards educating myself as much as possible so that I can understand this what's with rational out. What the heck is going on? And it's really difficult because it's just there's no precedent. This is the first time.
You got the magic word there. Education has been the core of every successful social movement in human history. Every one of them starts with people in small rooms, educating themselves, educating each other, developing a message, spreading the message, and resisting unjust acts. And we are living through some of them. Our parents, grandparents, and their grandparents all dealt with these things.
Well, they went through far worse.
They went through,
of course.
It's all relative.
But as Stu said, the worst is yet to come. This is the problem.
Well, time will tell.
We'll get it. Though. My optimism is it is possible to win, and even if you're the underdog, if you're a sports lover and a hound like we are, you have to believe in the underdog. And right now in the United States, the people are the underdog.
Yeah, no, we'll just let's finish up on that because that's just beautiful. And so everybody, thanks again for watching the Canadian Bro Show. This is a pivotal time for the Canadian Bro Show, and Johnny and I have 50 episodes together, and certainly thanks to people like
benchmark.
Dr. Stuart Shulman, who's been kind enough to do 3 episodes, and we've got at least 4 other people that have done 2 episodes, and we're going to bring them all back as well because they're going to be special and favorites for the Canadian Bro Show. And more importantly, it's about educating people out there, as Stu just finished saying, and I'm all about education. I know Johnny is as well. It doesn't matter if you're 60 years old, like the vast majority of us on the show are at this point. Is education it never stops as far as I'm concerned. And I don't want to say I'm addicted to it, but I really am. I just find myself this thirst and quest for knowledge and education, and it just helps everybody see the light a little bit clearer.
Yes, Bruce Lee said we have to keep our cups empty. Otherwise we'll never learn anything.
Yeah. And before we go and say goodbye, Johnny, you would like to share a book. This is the book that I gave Johnny as a gift.
I did read some of it. It's very stimulating and very educational. It's by Robert McKee. It's a very famous book called Story, and it's basically a very pragmatic how-to guide with regards to writing screenplays, novels, and what makes a good story.
Yeah, he's exceptionally. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to try to put together I don't know, a screenplay, or I don't know, about my basketball experiences being a professional basketball in Europe, and to the journey to get there and the journey to stay, and how the journey unfolded as I started at 30 as a professional and I finished at 37, which is really late for a short old white guy from SFU. But in the meantime, Everybody, thanks again, Stu, for coming out and enlightening us and educating us. Beautiful episode. And I will see you guys within the hour, less than an hour. And in the meantime, thank you both for having a great episode. And thank you all for joining the Canadian Bro Show, episode 50. And you have a pun. Johnny always does a pun at the end of the show, and it had to be, actually, Stu mentioned Gandhi, and
it is so prescient.
Wow.
It's like in my mind, like Professor X from the X-Men. Here we go. I have to read this off my phone.
Yeah.
As you know, Gandhi walked barefoot most of the time, which produced an impressive set of calluses on his feet. He also ate very little, which made him rather frail. And from his diet, he suffered from bad breath. This made him hold on to your seats, a super calloused, fragile mystic hexed by halitosis.
Oh, Jesus. Wow, that's pretty deep. That might be one of your deeper ones, bro.
I got a headache now.
All right, boys. I'll see you shortly. In the meantime, thank you, everybody, for coming to the Canadian Bro Show.
I'm going to enjoy this.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to that garlic. And everybody that wants to reach out to Stu, all the information is on the ticker. Feel free to reach out to him. He's very malleable. He's very friendly. And like I said, he'll give you 30 minutes of his time for free. And might be the best 30 minutes of that particular day or any day. So in the meantime, peace, love, and happiness out there. Be kind to people. It's free. Just try to make somebody's day. Do something nice. Don't expect anything. No expectations. In the meantime, we will see you on the next episode.
Don't be yourself. Be your best self.
Just like Stu. Take care.
Bye.
See you guys.